Good afternoon. We are Gaia. I'm Vivek, the producer.
I'm Jay, game designer and sound designer.
I'm Melody, programmer.
I'm Brent, game designer and sound designer.
I'm Bing, UI artist.
I'm Jerry, programmer.
I'm Tifa, visual artist.
We are working with our client, Mountain View Elementary School. Our advisors are Salvador Barrera and Jessica Tribus. The project that we worked on is an educational game on tablet devices to inspire kids to learn about the rainforests. We want to, through this game, give them a feeling of discovery and deliver information in a more playful manner. Our audience are second grade students and teachers. We are primarily focusing on the classroom setting. The students would be experiencing what they learned in the class, and the teachers would be using the moments of learning to enhance the teaching experience, basically empowering them. The standards that we use to provide content and context to our games are the science standards of interdependent relationships in ecosystems. While talking with the teachers, we also found that our game hits upon English reading and social studies standards. Our content advisor, Kenneth Kamerer, is the curator of mammals at the Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium. We've been in constant contact with him over the weeks. We've been sending him our information and the stuff and the content of animals and wildlife we've been working on. We've also gone down there, and him and the educators and the curator of education down there has played our game and given us some feedback as to how to make it better in terms of representing the mammals. To give us a quick overview of our game, we have 6 unique mini games, basically 4 relationship games and 2 reskinnable games, for a total of 12 games over 4 rainforests. And we have a journal that ties the entire experience together.
In the beginning of the game, we provide players a geographical context by showing them 4 different rainforests on the world map. By doing this, we are able to get children away from thinking that there is only one rainforest in the world. When they choose one of the rainforests, they will be led into that particular rainforest and exposed to its sounds and sights. We created 4 different relationship games that hit our target demographics standard for science, namely interdependent relationship. In the Amazon rainforest, they manage microecosystem in the bromeliad game. In the Australia, they manage the mutualistic relationship between bullhorn acacia tree and acacia tree ants. And in Congo rainforest, they experience elephant herd behavior, in particular that between a mother and its baby elephant. Last but not least, in the Southeast Asian rainforest, they learn how tree shrew and pitcher plant depends on each other.
We also have 2 reskinnable games in every rainforest. The first one, the photo taking game, teaches kids to identify animals by their names, and it serves as a bridge between the first and second grade content standards. The second game, the card game, teaches kids about predator-prey relationships and serves as a bridge between the second and third grade content standards, where they learn about food chains. These games contain animals, plants, and settings that are specific to the rainforest that they are situated in, exposing kids to the uniqueness of each rainforest. Finally, we have a journal to tie the entire experience together for players. The journal serves as a way to reinforce the knowledge that they gain from completing each mini-game. It also serves as a common reference point for teachers to use in a post-game classroom discussion, since our game is meant to be used in the classroom. At a glance, it showcases the lushness and richness of each rainforest, and which we hope will spark kids' interest and curiosity in this biome.
Now I'll be giving you a brief introduction to our end deliverable by taking you into the game. To facilitate multiple mini-games in different regions, we created a guide who introduces players to the end goal of becoming a master explorer. He then tells them about the 4 major rainforests we focused on: Australia, Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Amazon. Players are free to choose any of these to explore they want. However, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll be showing you the Amazon. As you can see, in the Amazon, there are 3 different experiences: 2 reskinnable games, 1 a photo-taking game, and 1 a card game. The other game is unique to this location and based on an interdependent relationship found in the region. Let's first look at the photo-taking game. It's designed to teach kids what the animals look like and what their names are. To achieve this, it's broken into 2 different rounds. In the first round, the animal's silhouette and the name are there. Once found, it changes to just the animal's name. This ensures that the child knows what the animal actually looks like. Once completed, it feeds information into the player's journal in the form of gifts as openable rewards for the player. And as you can see, I've just unlocked the grasshopper, but my entry is incomplete. To complete it, we'll need to play the card game. The card game introduces players to the food chains. The main goal of the game is to play an animal that's higher up on the food chain than the animal that your opponent is playing. For instance, if they play a poison dart frog and a grasshopper, the frog will eat the grasshopper. However, if an incompatible pair is played, such as a frog and grass, no one will win. In the next round, we introduce the next leg of the food chain. So in round 1, we have grass, grasshopper, and frog. In round 2, we have frog, snake, and eagle, showing them a complete thing. And then once it's complete, I have unlocked the food and predator content of my journal that was missing from the photo game. And I've almost completed the game, but there's still one thing left. It's the relationship game. This is actually the bromeliad game, which teaches kids about microecosystems by allowing them to manage a microecosystem inside of a bromeliad flower and raise the tadpole through its stages of metamorphosing into a poison dart frog. And now I've unlocked the complete Amazon, and each rainforest has its own plants and animals that can be unlocked by playing games in those regions.
Within this semester, the art team is really busy creating all the art assets. We have 29 different animals and plants, 14 unique backgrounds, and 8 set of UI kits. Together, they form a really large rainforest experience for the children to explore. The combination of cartoony and realistic style can let the children both have fun and learn about the real look of different animals and rainforest. In this semester, the biggest challenge for the art team is that we have really different art styles. In order to make the styles consistent throughout the game, we have many art reviews with our advisors, peers, and clients. Thanks to all their feedback, we were able to maintain similar art style and also go through many iterations to make the art less misunderstood and more focused. For example, in the occasion tree game, we moved the buttons from the bottom to the left so that the children won't feel the buttons are observing raindrops. In another case, children are really easy to get distracted, so we add small jumping GIF icons and notifications to let the children focus more on the new findings on the index page of a journal.
Our playtest process for this was two-pronged. We conducted playtests with both the teachers and the students in order to deliver a satisfactory experience to our clients and, more importantly, to our guests. In our initial playtest, we quickly identified the points of confusion and the points of engagement that were in our game so that we were able to enhance and improve on them for the overall experience. By the time we reached our second playtest, we started iterating on interaction. Some of the interactions that we had initially designed for our games, for example, tapping in the bromeliad game and blowing in the elephant game, were not working so well in a classroom situation. And therefore, we were able to improve upon them and change them to dragging and holding. We also redesigned the UI to lower confusion in gameplay. Even so, we found that some kids were having some initial confusion during gameplay. We then were able to include instructional prompts and redesign our tutorials to facilitate that. Towards the end, towards our final playtest, we moved our focus to conducting teacher-led playtests with the students. We gave the teachers our app and asked them to play through it and identify for us what they felt were the most effective and powerful teaching moments, which we were then able to improve upon and enhance for the final experience. We also conducted pre- and post-testing with the students in order to find out how much they learned through the experience. This is some of our playtesting data. It's representative of how the kids performed before and after our experience. And as you can see, all the kids showed a consistent and marked improvement in their responses and their knowledge of the rainforests after playing through our experience. This is an overview of all the playtests we conducted throughout this semester. We were able to conduct 6 total playtests with 102 different children and 14 educators.
Moving on, here are the lessons we learned. Firstly, we underestimated the amount of time needed to iterate and polish 12 games in a journal. After quarters, 1 game is implemented. After halves, 3 games is implemented. At the end, we put in a lot of effort to complete the other 9 games and polish the whole product. Secondly,
We worked closely with the teacher so that our game will empower them in their teaching. Thirdly, we make the decision to inspire kids to learn by themselves instead of simply conveying information to them. Lastly, as Jerry elaborated, we found that playtesting helped us to learn the behavior of students, which is essential. On this coming Thursday, we will present our game to the kids at Mountain View Elementary School and hand over the teacher resources and documentation to our clients. To sum up, we built an educational game on tablet for second graders and inspired them to learn more about rainforest ecosystem in class. Here are what we accomplished: 29 stylized wildlife for 12-minute games in 4 major rainforests. Finally, we successfully delivered both entertainment and biological concepts, focusing on interdependent relationships to our target audience. Thank you. We are Team Gaia. We are open for questions.
Chris? Yeah, you talked about unifying the art style, which is often a problem on ETC projects. I'd love to hear how decisions were made, your process of making decisions to unify the style.
Yeah, so in the first stage, we have Tifa draw all the background and all the animals. And actually, when she draw these animals, herself have different styles. So we try to help her with this. We go to Shirley and we try to figure out what happened. But then we find out maybe I should help with her on the background. So one person in charge of background and the other one in charge of animals might be better. But still we figure out there's some disconnected part in the background and animals. So in the last stage, we print out everything and we put them on the table and we ask everyone to critique what's wrong with this one and what's wrong with that one. So we mark all the stuff that we feel weird on the stage and then we replace it with new stuff. For example, some of the highlight is really bright and also some of them have borders, some of the others don't have, that kind of situation. Yes. Questions?
Could you pick one of your mini games and tell us how it changed as a result of playtesting with the kids?
If I were to take that question, if we were to look at the bromeliad mini game, earlier there was a tapping mechanic where you tapped the animal and tapped its prey and then they moved towards each other. But consistently we found that the kids always wanted to drag the animals to one another. So we changed that mechanic to the drag mechanic. Similarly, if I were to talk about the elephant game, initially you draw water from the pool and then you blow into the tablet to blow the water as if through your trunk to your babies. But the problem with that was there was a lot of ambient noise within a classroom setting in which kids were already playing. So the blowing mechanic became completely redundant because the kids were able to blow without creating any sound themselves. So we changed that mechanic to a tap and hold.
Another game that kind of underwent a change was the pitcher plant and the straw game. Previously, we had nectar forming while the straw was still on the pitcher plant, and as a result, sometimes the players would lose when the straw was still on the plant, making a misconception that the players lost because the straw was on the plant. But in fact, the straw was actually helping the plant. So we removed that, and now it's much easier to tell that the plant died because they didn't have enough nutrients from the bugs. Yes.
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to commend you on how clean and polished your finished product looks, and also on your taking initiative to do pre and post testing, which I thought was really nice. So my questions pertain actually to that play testing and just your evaluation overall. So just a couple of questions. Firstly, you had mentioned that your target audience that you define include both the students and the teachers, and that you perform play testing with both of those groups. So I was just wondering if you had an opportunity to evaluate the simultaneous use of your games by the students and the teachers at the same time. In other words, did you get a sense for how the teacher integrated the product into their lesson and used it to foster student-teacher and student interaction? And if so, what were some of your findings in that regard? And then also just a segue question to that is, with your pre and post testing, did you do any sort of statistical analysis to see if there was actually a statistical significance in the difference between pre and post?
Yeah, I'll hit the second one first, which was, did we do any analysis? Every time we gave a questionnaire out, we brought it back in and then broke it down based on the demographics. So there were some of them, I think the ETC run playtest specifically had like different grade levels in it. So we would break it down by demographic, and then we'd go through each question and say how many of these people got it right and how many got it wrong, and then like why we thought they did that. And then in the pre and post one, we did the same thing, and then we compared the results to each other. So we have all of that data in spreadsheets upstairs.
Awesome.
And then in the teacher-run playtest, which was how did we see teachers using this, like integrating it into the classroom and using it with students. When we brought it in for the teacher-run playtest, which was like we went up to the teacher and we explained all of the games we had and everything that happened in it, and we were like, we need to help you. We need you to like help us figure out how this will be used in the classroom. And she was like, well, these are kind of the things we're already learning. And then when the kids came in, she like brought them into a big group around her and like started talking about the things they were already learning in rainforests. And then she's like, this game's gonna help you learn that stuff. And then she let them run off and like sit in the pair up into teams of 2 per tablet and play it by themselves for, it was around 25 minutes, I think. And then she brought them all back together, and that's actually the picture of it right there. That's her at the very end of the playtest with the group of students, asking them what they learned from each game and going through and like making sure that they all understood everything. And we found that a lot of the students actually like got everything perfectly, and when there were like misunderstandings, some other student was able to like figure it out and was able to bring it up in the group setting, and like the information was spread around all the students.
Some of the students were able to teach each other after learning through the game.
Right, that's awesome. Thanks, team.
Thank you.